Today, I'm going to share with you my freight broker pre-cold calling checklist. All right, Dennis, so what's this all about? What is this pre-cold calling checklist? Well, I'm going to share with you 5 things that you should do before you start your cold calling activities daily. This is really important. Some of these might be obvious, but I want you to stick around because there's a couple of nuggets in here that you absolutely don't want to miss. All right. Number 1, you need to understand, what is your goal? What is your goal for doing this cold outreach? Now, some people think their goal on that call is to get a shipper, right? Is to close the deal. And they couldn't be further from the truth. You're not looking to do a one call close. That's not what this is about. And it will rarely, if ever, happen for you in your career. There's a process. First, they have to know, like, and trust you. So your goal, the goal that I like to define on a first phone call, is to have what I call a quality conversation. Now, what does that mean? Well, here's what it doesn't mean. It doesn't mean you get on the phone and 15 or 30 seconds later, they say, I'm not interested, and they hang up. That's the opposite of a quality call, right? A quality conversation. So a quality conversation is one where you're able to build some basic rapport. All right. They're starting to know you. They know who you are, and they're starting to like you because you have some similarities and you're building some sort of rapport, right? You've got something in common. The second part of a quality conversation is gathering intelligence, gathering information that's going to help you in future contacts and future calls, and going to help and enhance the opportunity for you to get the sale. So you're going to gather some intelligence. And number 3 is you're going to establish the next step. Now, the next step is usually you're going to follow up with an email, you're going to follow up with a phone call, you're going to do some rate quotes, you're going to answer a question that you maybe didn't have the answer to. You're going to establish a next step with your prospect, and you're going to agree to that next step and a timeline for that. Okay. So that is number 1. You need to understand, what is your goal? And I believe your goal should not be to try to close them. It should be to have a quality conversation. All right. Number 2, you need to do your research. Do some research. I'm not talking about spending 20 minutes or 30 minutes researching every single company that you're going to call, but you do need to spend a few minutes on their website, looking at their products, looking at some recent news that may be about them or their industry. You need to do a Google search on the company and the industry and try to find out what's very relevant, what's recent, what's current. And you also need to go on the person's LinkedIn. You need to go on the shipping manager's LinkedIn, warehouse manager, logistics manager, whoever it is. And if you can't find them, you need to go on the company's LinkedIn page and try to gather some sales intelligence. Now, sales intelligence, my definition is any piece of data that you can gather before or during the sale that enhances your opportunity to get the sale. All right. You have to understand some basic things. If you call that shipper up and you don't understand what products they sell, that is a big red flag. It's a big red flag, and you will instantly lose credibility if you don't know that. All right. So there's some really fundamental, simple things that you can do as research before. And once you get good at this gathering research, it literally only take you 2 or 3 minutes before each call. And at that point, you'll have the fundamentals and you'll be able to build on it from there. Okay. So that's number 2, do research. Listen, I'm going to give you number 3. Okay. Number 3 is important, but here, I want you to make sure you stick around to number 5. Okay. While all of these are important, number 5 is absolutely critical. So if you don't stick around to number 5, you're really going to miss out. Okay. Number 3 is you have to have a voicemail script ready. You have to have a basic or multiple voicemail scripts ready in order for you to really be able to be effective as a salesperson, because there are going to be times when people don't pick up the phone. And there are going to be times when you're probably going to want to leave a voicemail. All right. Now, not on every call, but there are going to be times that you're going to want to leave a voicemail. So putting a really concise and well-constructed voicemail together is very, very important. I teach, as a part of my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, which is that 5-week coaching program where I take that piece of my brain and I transplant it into your head, everything about my best freight broker sales strategies, tactics, tools, and my entire system, which unfortunately you can't sign up for right now, but you can get on the wait list. There'll be some sort of a link here. I think it's freightbrokerbootcamp.com/wait list. But in that Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, one of the things that I teach is my winning voicemail blueprint. I'll share it with you really quick. It goes like this: intro, and then you're going to do the reason for the call, which is your sales hook. You're going to do the call to action, and then you're going to give your contact info. So that's the basic framework. All right. I'm not going to get into a big, long, drawn out voicemail right now, but listen, there is a right way and a wrong way to leave a voicemail. I promise you. And the subtleties of right and wrong make a huge, huge difference. Okay. So you want to have a script or multiple scripts for your voicemails. You want to be prepared for those voicemails because you're going to leave some voicemails. All right. Number 4, be prepared mentally. This is one of the things that really takes new brokers out of the game. Couple things you got to know going in. You're going to hear no. You're going to get some rejection. Okay. Some people might even be mean. Oh, yeah. Here's the deal. This is chess, not checkers. You got to understand. You have got to know going in that there's going to be some rejection. You're going to hear no. I'm going to tell you that right out front. But here's the thing. The good news about this is that if you don't take it personal and you can weather the storm, there's an opportunity for you with even a small shipper, just one small shipper, to do $5 or $10 or even $20,000 a year in profit right in your pocket. Now, I can't guarantee that, but I can tell you that if you got one shipper doing $200 per load per week, right? One load per week at $200, that's over $10,000 a year in profit. My point is you don't need hundreds of shippers in order to build a successful freight brokerage or freight agency. So the cool part is, yes, there's going to be some rejection, but you don't need to have a huge book of business in order for you to make a significant 6 or even 7-figure income. So some of the things to be prepared mentally, understand you're going to hear no. A couple of things that I like to do, if I'm not in the right mindset, the right mood, a couple of things that I do, I might play some music that really gets me excited. Like when I hear the Rocky theme, I'll get the chills will go down the back of my neck. There's other songs, other movies, things of that nature that will get me kind of build my momentum, build my confidence, and get me going. Another thing that I like to do, which is what I'm doing right now, is standing when I sell. You've probably heard me talk about that before. Don't sit down. Don't sit down at your desk and hide your face in your cubicle and mumble and be mealy-mouthed. Stand up. Okay? So those are a couple things you can do to make sure you have the right mindset and to make sure that you're prepared mentally. Okay? And then number 5, I promised you the big one here. Number 5. This one is probably more important than all of the other 4 combined. While the other ones are important, this one is really, really, really important. And what it is this: you have to define your sales hook. You have to define what you are going to say in the first 5 to 15 seconds of that phone call to get their attention. And if you sound like everybody else, that's not getting their attention in a good way. And don't be surprised if you get hung up on or you get a lot of rejection. You have to figure out a way to be different. Creating a sales hook is not that difficult, especially if you did number 2, which was doing your research, right? Remember, we talked about your research. We talked about the company website. We talked about, doing a Google search. We talked about their LinkedIn profile. If you gather some information and you do your research, number 1, it's very easy to come up with something that's relevant, contextual, and current that you can use as a sales hook to differentiate yourself and get your prospects' attention. Very simple, okay? So it's not that hard to do that. The other thing you can do is you could have some predefined sales hooks put together based upon the logistics manager in any given industry, whatever your niche is. Say you're in the steel industry and you're selling to logistics managers. Logistics managers in the steel industry have the same 4 or 5 problems no matter where they are in the country, right? On-time pickup and deliveries, right? Claims, freight rates, capacity, right? Things of that nature. Those are some of the more common issues that every logistics manager in the steel industry has. But then by gathering the sales intelligence that's specific to that prospect or specific to that industry or specific to that company, here's what you're doing. You're differentiating yourself. I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's not the smoothest talking salesperson that is the most successful. It's not the salesperson who makes 200 phone calls a day every day. The salesperson, the freight broker, the freight agent that is the most successful, in my experience, okay, in almost 20 years of brokerage, okay, is the broker that is the most educated. And I'm not talking about formal education. I'm not talking about college or getting your master's or your PhD. That has no correlation. The correlation is how educated they are about their niche, how educated they are about the company they're talking to, and how educated they are about the prospect themselves. The more information you have there, the better sales hook you can create, the better dialogue you can create, the better rapport you can build, and the more opportunities you have to move to the next stage, right? Because again, in a cold call, all we're trying to do is have a quality conversation, all right? So those are the 5 tips. Listen, if you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, right? And you're just not quite sure where to start or where to go, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. We've trained over 10,000 students, been in business well over a decade now. And we offer a 60-day, 100% money back guarantee. If for any reason, you're not happy, we'll absolutely give your money back. It's an unconditional money back guarantee. For those of you that want more advanced sales training, right, and you really want to dig in and you want to be a part of that 5-week Freight Broker Sales Accelerator coaching program, just go to freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. You'll get put on the wait list. You can enroll right now. We have limited spots. When we do open up here in probably the next month or two, we'll open up enrollment, and hopefully you'll be a part of that. You'll be selected as a part of that program. Check out the wait list. Make sure you like, comment, and most of all, subscribe. If you're on YouTube or wherever you're at, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you click the all notifications bell. Have an awesome day, and we'll talk to you soon.